All right, what's up everybody? Welcome back to another video here on the channel. Well, as many of you know, about once a week, I like to make a quick update going over the Iran conflict, kind of just gathering all of the data and all of the news that you need to know and presenting it to you as quickly and simply as possible so you can stay updated on the conflict without needing to read the news every day. Because the truth is that there's a lot going on. There's a lot of updates. There's a lot of countries and people involved. There's a lot of websites talking about different things. And I know that can be a bit overwhelming. You guys have lives to live. You don't need to be watching this all day. And so again, once a week, I like to just gather the most important data so you can stay updated and up to date on what's going on in the conflict and how it's impacting your portfolio. Because realistically, I would say that the Iran conflict is one of the most major contributing factors to why the prices in the stock market are doing what they're doing right now. So it is important to pay attention to it, but I don't think you should be checking it every day. And so that's what we're going to do today. I know the environment, the setup looks a little bit weird. It looks a little bit different. Some of you probably don't know this, but I actually am a professional fighter on the side, and I have a professional fight just this weekend. So I am in an Airbnb until this weekend. So I'll be back to normal next week, but nonetheless, I still wanted to get this video out there for you to keep you up to date. So without further ado, let's kind of just take a look to see what is going on. So what we can see is that the S&P 500 has put in a bit of a boring week, right? Every time we've dumped, we've pumped. Every time we've pumped, we've dumped. We've not really got a sustained move in either direction, and we're really seeing this market slow down. Now, this honestly isn't the worst case scenario, especially considering over the last month, the market has just been consistently falling. So seeing a little bit of sideways price action isn't something that I'm actually upset about, but this sideways price action does just go to show how uncertain the market is right now, right? A lot of people are sat just wondering what's going to happen. I mean, is this getting close to ending? Is this just ramping up? What's going to happen with oil prices? Is inflation going to get really bad? Why did I pay $60 at the gas pump today? There's a lot of uncertainty in the market, and that's why prices are responding how they are. Now, this uncertainty is stemming from the recent developments that we've gotten from Iran, especially as of late. Now, I will dive into these two articles, this one, in a second here, but I will just give you the general overview of what's going on in Iran now. So the TLDR of what's going on in Iran right now is that earlier this week, the United States actually came out and tried to de-escalate this in some capacity. Matter of fact, what you can see is that the White House went out and sent them over a 15-point plan that they could accept that would immediately end the war. Like, hey, if you accept this, we'll end the war, we'll stop escalating, we'll stop the bombing, we'll stop doing everything we're doing, and we can start to actually move towards a place of peace. But as we all know, Iran has a tendency to be a little bit stubborn, and I mean, I get it, right? And their foreign minister came out and acknowledged that their messages had been exchanged with the U.S., but that they said that the Washington's shift in tone amounted to an acknowledgement of failure after previously demanding Tehran's unconditional surrender. So basically, Iran was like, nah, we're good. Like, yeah, we did talk to them, but we don't like their tone. We're good. And that's a funny stance, right? That's a funny stance for someone losing a war, but yeah, to each their own, right? But that's kind of where things were at earlier in the week, where, the market first kind of got excited, like, hey, maybe we're going to move, maybe this conflict's coming to an end. After 24, 25 days, maybe things are finally slowing down. But Iran was basically like, no, we're good, we'll pass, like, whatever. Well, in response to that, that really pissed off the White House. And that's something that we can see. Because what then happened is Trump came out and said, listen, you need to now accept defeat and start getting serious in these conversations with us before it's too late. Because like, we've been patient. We can be much less patient, and we can take this really far. And so we need to start to work towards this. And so it is an interesting thing to see that it does on the surface seem as if the United States is actually pushing in a direction where there could be some resolve here. Now, realistically, like just because the United States is pushing into a position in which there could be a resolve here doesn't mean that it's actually going to be resolved. It doesn't mean Iran's actually going to be happy with it. It doesn't mean that the conflict's going to be over. But it does seem as if there could be a light at the end of the tunnel to where there's maybe a world in which negotiations start. Maybe they meet up 100, 200 miles away, and things actually get into a bit of a better spot. And so that's the reason why you're seeing the market starting to kind of slow down on that pullback a little bit, but not really gain a lot of traction because there is a lot of uncertainty. People are still very unsure about what's going to happen, but people are starting to come with the idea like, hey, maybe this is coming to an end soon. And I actually do think that this is a good thing. I'm not going to lie, because we are now starting to see the impacts of what's happening in the Strait of Hormuz. I mean, if any of you have gotten gas recently, I'm sure you've seen it. Gas prices have gone up like crazy. A buddy of mine who works over in West Texas with horses, he said fertilizer prices have 3x'd, and that's causing a huge impact on local farming there. And that's going to, of course, become much more widespread eventually. We're also seeing some of these impacts over in South Korea as well. You're starting to see some of these impacts in France right now, in Italy right now. You're starting to actually see the impact of this Strait of Hormuz being closed in a way that we've not seen in a long time. And so I think the US coming out and starting to offer a solution here, I think it's a good thing, because it should cause the panic that inflation typically would cause to be a little bit more mitigated, because people say, okay, maybe this is just a temporary problem. Maybe we don't see this inflation and gas prices continue to really climb over the next couple of weeks or months. Maybe this is only going to last a couple more days, or maybe a couple of weeks at best, right? It's not going to last all the rest of the year. You get what I mean? And so yes, there are other updates, and yeah, there are other things going on here, but that's really the state of where we're at. You got the US who's trying to work something out to make this work, and Iran saying, no, like that's not favorable to us at all. We're not taking those 15 points. You're not just going to crush us like that. No. And so now it's a situation where the next step from here is Trump is either going to, like, either they're going to have a conversation about this and Iran's just going to accept it, or I think Trump really will take shit too far. Like, the US has a history of taking things a little too far. Like, so I think we could all agree. Like, we take things a little too far sometimes, and it wouldn't surprise me at all if we really see the White House take things to the next level to start pushing this into a direction of, okay, we tried to let you make this decision. Now we're going to make this decision for you. How the market responds to that, super hard to tell. It just depends. I think what is more likely, though, is that they will come to some sort of conclusion, some sort of resolution of some capacity, and then the market does move in a bit of a better direction. I actually feel like we're getting closer to that than a lot of people realize, but I guess obviously only time will tell. But in the meantime, it is going to be extremely important to just kind of stay updated on what is happening here, especially in this next phase as we decide, and as we see, I guess, the decision of, like, are they going to accept these talks and conversations with the U.S. or not? Because that's going to have a massive impact. You know, even from what we've seen just this week, we've seen oil prices start to head back up, right? We saw oil prices fall all the way from $115 down to $100 once we thought some sort of conclusion was coming to, you know, the conflict. But then it's already started to rally just in the last 24 hours as Iran has basically said no. And then a bunch of threats have been thrown their way. And so a lot is going on. It's impacting oil prices. It's impacting stock prices. It's causing instability. So it is very important to stay updated with this. And again, that's why I have been trying to update you all, you know, once a week on what's going on and all the main things you need to know without all the extra fluff and without all the extra noise and chaos. So hopefully you guys have been enjoying the updates. Let me know your thoughts about, you know, kind of what's going on down in the comments below. Also, do let me know if you do find these videos helpful, just to stay updated on what's happening and, you know, the market as a response to what's happening in Iran and what you need to be on the lookout for next. I'm probably not going to be back with another video until Monday or Tuesday because my fight is on Saturday. I have to start cutting weight tonight. So I have to go get into the mix a little bit. I'm not going to eat for a day or two. I'm not going to drink water for a day or two. It's going to be like this whole thing. So I'm going to go get that done. I'm going to go get that knocked out. Hopefully we get the win. I'll keep you updated as everything plays out. And I can't wait to see you all in the next one. See you, everybody.